Did an innocent AI art experiment to reproduce a silver screen icon accidentally summon the first AI-generated cryptid? Around November 22, Swedish musician Supercomposite, aka Steph Swanson, an AI art enthusiast, was playing around with an AI art generator online. The concept is simple. Request an image using a prompt, and the generator will find subjects and combine them into the desired prompt. Steph was using negative prompt weights, a technique used to get the theoretical opposite of whatever one inputs into the generator. Steph asked for the opposite of Oscar-winning silver screen icon Marlon Brando. What she got in return was an innocuous photo, a simple business logo with what appeared to be a stylized Seattle skyline. Naturally, she thought requesting the opposite of this photo would return a picture of Marlon Brando. She was wrong. What she did get was grotesque, and it would only worsen from there. She was faced with this. She dubbed it Loab from the garbled text that appeared above the woman. A strange-looking woman with swollen, dark eyes. Her tear-stained cheeks inflamed with what looked like rosacea. Her expression always a sob grimace or a glare if you're unlucky. Negative prompts aren't supposed to work like this. The opposite of one thing can be almost anything else. The same negative prompts can and often do return completely uncorrelated images, according to Steph Swanson, who said, "If you use negative prompts, a lot of times it's really varied, so it was really unusual to get a bunch of images of what was recognizably the same woman. Even if you describe a person in a positive prompt, you get people that match that description, but you don't get literally the same person. I immediately recognized this as an anomaly." Clearly, whatever bleak corner of machine learning data Loab came from was hidden but very strong. Repeating the prompt, instead of moving on to other muses as these algorithms often do, Steph kept getting the very same Loab, appearing often in a bleak house with green walls, cardboard boxes, and the occasional stuffed toy. The odds of each of these details recurring so often and so strongly is astronomical. That might have been alarming, but the AI wasn't done with Steph, or Loab. Could whatever signals spawned Loab also overpower other signals? Steph then attempted to crossbreed one of the many Loab photos with another completely innocuous AI-generated image, one that Steph's friend had made. A serene hallway with angels in the glass of the ceiling, the prompt for which was a hyper-compressed glass tunnel surrounded by angels in the style of Wes Anderson. Loab spread. The images showed Loab in various scenes that some would say were straight out of horror films, but these are closer to snuff films, if anything. Here are a few of the images that I think I can get away with showing on YouTube. The rest are all worse than this. Some of the images that were produced were so graphic that Steph has vowed never to release them to the public. The more images Steph would try to cross Loab with, the more nightmares would be produced, suggesting that the AI associated Loab, this creature, with extreme horror and gore. Eventually, Steph was able to somewhat weed out Loab, but noted that her face followed her everywhere in the images, like a dominant gene trait. Steph revealed all of this in a Twitter megathread in November of 2022 and took the world by storm. After that, many took Loab into their own hands, creating legends and lore of her, feeding the various AI art generators their own Loab prompts to stalk the latent space between the idea and the creation. But Loab isn't the first time art has become the stuff of haunted legend. There are many chilling stories of haunted paintings dating back to the 1800s, but one sinister portrait in particular bears a lot of similarities to Loab. Do our videos haunt your dreams? Do they follow you around, like the only portrait in a haunted Victorian mansion? Like and subscribe, or I'll start asking questions on an AI art Ouija board. After graduating from the prestigious Grekov Odessa Art School in Ukraine, Svetlana Tilits was unsettled by the sense of constantly being watched. One day, Svetlana sat before a blank canvas when the feeling morphed into something more tangible, a vision. A slender woman with downcast eyes and a wide-brimmed black hat, standing against a stormy sky. Svetlana told Ukrainian newspaper KP that it felt like her hand was being guided by somebody or something else.
I saw the contours of a woman, her face, the colors, the shades. In an instant, I noticed all the details of the image. It seemed like someone else was controlling my hand.
Following the completion of the painting, Svetlana moved to Venezia and opened a gallery of her own, where the haunting painting, Woman of the Rain, sold almost immediately. It was returned just as fast. The first buyer was a businesswoman who allegedly told Svetlana, "Please, take her away. I cannot sleep. It seems that there is someone in this apartment besides me now. I even took it off the wall and hid it in the closet. It did not help." It sold again. This time the buyer was a young man trying to liven up his apartment. "I dream about the painting," he told Svetlana. "Every night she appears and she follows me like a shadow." He too brought the painting back to Svetlana. The third buyer was made aware of the painting's reputation when he bought it next, and even then it was still too much for him. "At first I didn't notice how white her eyes were, and then they began to appear everywhere. It seemed like just a little bit longer and I would drown in them." The Rain Woman now belongs to Sergei Kechko of the Ukrainian band Zemlyane. His wife told the same magazine that was interviewing Svetlana that when Sergei goes on tours, she removes the painting from the building entirely, leaving it in the garage. She claims that when it is in their home, she can hear someone walking through their house, and an unmistakable dark energy is felt throughout the home. Cursed videos and cursed images have been clickbait fodder since the early 2000s. But if there is such a precedent for real-world items that mimic or recreate the human form, why would the created or compiled human as a concept be exempt? I guess the lesson is to be careful what you make and be mindful of the next idea that creeps into your head. It could be something else, looking for an escape, looking for a vessel.